StudyIQ IAS, अब तैयारी हुई अफोर्डेबल।
Hello, Namaskar, Namaskar. My name is Pooja Dwivedi. Welcome to my class, The Daily Current Affairs, where we will learn significant events of the past 24 hours, and I will also teach you how to tackle the preliminary questions. Students have been asking me or telling me that, ma'am, please let us know how to make notes from your class, as in the Daily Current Affairs. I am asking you, do not make notes from the class because I'm already providing you the PDF. You just have to ensure that you are completely attentive during the entire class, because how to tackle the prelims question, which are the words that we have to keep in mind whenever we are tackling important questions. This is the major focus of this class. PDF I'm already providing you on my Instagram, on my Telegram channel. So please do not worry about making notes because PDF is provided. You just have to pay attention. The more you pay attention to the class, the more you will be able to understand how to tackle the questions. Note making, mindless note making is not important. So keep that in mind. Okay. So this is the Telegram channel that I'm talking about, Pooja Dwivedi, StudyIQ UPSC. If you have any questions or any doubts regarding the classes, whatever I teach here, you can talk to me on my Instagram. Any strategy making purposes are to be fulfilled, you can also talk to me on my Instagram for the same reason. Now, these are the myriad events that we have to cover today. Of course, these have remained the dominant ones, so I have picked it for you. First, we are going to talk about ethanol. Consider the following statements. The USA is the largest producer of fuel ethanol, followed by Brazil. Corn is often regarded as the king of biofuels based on ethanol. Okay, so here we are going to talk about ethanol and its importance, corn's importance in ethanol. Okay, then India will achieve 30% ethanol blended petrol by the year 2025. What do we have to see? How many statements given above is or are correct? See, sometimes what happens that we just mug up the topmost producers of any important commodity. But UPSC is brilliant. It is going to ask you the largest producers, the second largest producer, also third or fourth or fifth. So you have to keep in mind that top 5 producers of any important commodity has to be at your fingertips, and that will come through revision. Okay, nothing else. The USA is first. It is closely followed by Brazil, and Brazil has pumped in a lot of money in its sugarcane industry because it is sourcing out its biofuel ethanol from sugarcane. So that makes the first statement correct. Sometimes what happens during the examination, the nervousness of the examination is such that we just see, okay, yes, USA is the largest producer. We do not even care about Brazil. Poor Brazil. So this is what I'm talking about. That don't get nervous. Read the statement carefully and be equipped with knowledge so that you can have sufficient knowledge to tackle the first statement. The first is correct for that reason. Second, when it comes to ethanol, corn is the king. Okay, so that is also very important. We have our own national policy on biofuel that was launched in 2018. Maize has been given a lot of importance. So first is correct, second is also correct. India will achieve 20% ethanol blended petrol by the year 2025. Now this data can create a confusion. How? Earlier, we had to achieve 20% blended petrol from ethanol by the year 2030. And later on, it was revised to 2025. Why? Because India was doing pretty well when it comes to that production. So, keeping that in mind, if you do not revise whatever is being taught here, or if you have read any article, if you have not revised it, then you can easily falter in the third stage of the third statement I'm talking about here. So India will achieve 20% of the ethanol blended petrol by the year 2025. That means we will have 20% of ethanol and the rest, that is 80%, will be either petrol or diesel. Okay. So first is correct, second is correct, third is not correct. 2 only will be the correct answer. So these are the kind of tackling tricks that you have to know. Here, my sole purpose is to ensure that you know how to tackle the prelims examination. Prelims is not, impossible. That the narrative that has been going on around in the UPSC industry right now is completely, trying to demoralize you. Anybody who is saying that prelims is is something that you can never achieve. No, it is doable. UPSC is looking for students who have their concepts cleared and they have enough respect for this examination to revise the topics again and again. This is the only thing that we have to keep in mind. So 20% ethanol blended E20, petrol E20, it is by the name of E20. That means ethanol has 20% in it. It will be available across India by the year 2025. That means by the year 2025, not from. From means it will start from 2025. No. By means it will be available as we near 2025. So these are the kind of keywords you have to keep in mind. I can also put a tricky question here like from the year 2025. And if you have not read it properly, this is reading between the lines. Then you can falter here. The first E20 special fuels outlet was opened in February this year. And right now we have already crossed 600 outlets. More outlets will be available by the year 2025. E20 fuel is the common blend of ethanol and gasoline. Ethanol is produced by plants that have been damaged or crops that have been damaged or the leftover parts. Okay, and this will provide a lot of livelihood opportunities to our farmers as well. So we will have 20% ethanol plus 80% gasoline. That means either petrol or diesel. It is eco-friendly. Okay, first of all, we have to keep in mind that ethanol will help in achieving the net zero carbon that we have to achieve by the year 2070. And it is also cost effective because we are an agriculture dependent country. That means we will have a lot of leftover crops. So this is the reason. It is extracted from the residue of sugarcane or even damaged plant grains. Now, national policy on biofuels was launched in the year 2018. If you're making notes, stop. Do not make notes right now. I am providing you the PDF. Why are you so worried? Don't do it. The target of 20% ethanol blending in petrol will be completed by the year 2030. This was the initial plan. But India thought in June 2022, we have already achieved the 10% part. So let's revise it and make it to 2025. So if you want to ace this examination, be updated. This update came later on. When the policy was formulated, it wasn't, the year was 2030, right? Now it has been updated. This is what I'm doing here. We have also ensured that we save foreign exchange of rupees 41,500 crore. Why? Because India is the third largest crude consumer country in the world, as in crude oil consumer country in the world. That is why it is important for us to be self-dependent, not dependent on some other country. And if we are importing something, we are letting go of foreign exchange, right? So that is why we have saved on this. And we have also reduced greenhouse gas emission of 27 lakh metric ton. It has also led to an income increase for the farmers to this much. So it is not a small feat that we have achieved. United States stands first when it comes to bioethanol fuel production, when it comes to the ethanol part. Then we have Brazil. Okay, if we go country wise, India will be very close to Brazil. But before us, we have European Union. Then we have China. Okay, so this is the trajectory that we have. Corn is regarded as the king of biofuels based on ethanol. Other than this, we have rapeseed oil, canola, sugarcane, jatropha, soya bean, even damaged crops and residue from sugarcane. Okay, consider the following statements with respect to green hydrogen. Green hydrogen is also in the news a lot. In one of my classes, I have also talked about different sorts of hydrogen, if you remember. Green, white hydrogen, yellow hydrogen, turquoise hydrogen, blue hydrogen, grey hydrogen, pink hydrogen. There is many hydrogen spectrum that is going on. Okay, so that you have to remember. Please refer to that class. Different types of hydrogen. Okay. Although it has a moniker, the moniker green, it leaves a little carbon dioxide as a byproduct. India aims at producing 5 million metric tons per annum with an associated renewable energy capacity of 200 gigawatt by the year 2030. Then the manufacturing of green hydrogen is cost efficient, making it a viable option for low carbon energy. So how many of the statements given above is or are not correct? Okay, so we have to keep in mind that this particular question is trying to trick us. How? Whenever there is a moniker means name, the name. Moniker is green, that means it has something to do with low carbon emission. But hydrogen leaves carbon dioxide. This is what this question is saying. No. If we are producing hydrogen with the help of electrolysis and the electricity used for that electrolysis is through renewable energy, this is green hydrogen. And the byproduct is just water. All right. So we have to keep in mind it does not leave out carbon dioxide. That makes the first statement to be incorrect. This is a very big trick. Even if you have read it time and again, but UPSC just asks us questions like this to trick us that, oh, you might not have studied this, you might have left this part out. No, be confident in what you have read. Okay, and make your concept strong. Then India aims at producing this million metric ton, 5 million metric ton per annum with an associated renewable energy capacity addition of about 200 gigawatt by 2030. This is concept based and this is purely fact based. That means you should know the data. You should know as a bureaucrat what your country wants to achieve in the form of data. So yes, we can divide it into parts. First part data is talking about how much green hydrogen we are going to produce. This is correct that it is 5 million metric tons. Definitely correct. Then how we will produce it? Of course, with the help of renewable energy. And that renewable energy will provide us assistance of not 200 gigawatt but 125 gigawatt. This is the third part. Second part, sorry. First part, second part of data. Then we have the third part of data, that is the year 2030. So this is how you have to keep the data in mind. Year, the aim, and that will be in quantitative amount, and that is it. So second is fact-based. This makes the second statement incorrect because this is correct, but this is not correct. UPSC has given so much data in this particular statement that even if you're confident in 2, that 5 MMT is correct, 2030 is correct, but was the renewable energy 200 gigawatt? No, it was 125 gigawatt. Okay, so this is how it will trick you. We have to ensure that we revise it. The manufacturing of green hydrogen is cost efficient, making it a viable option for low carbon energy. No, not at all. In fact, the infrastructure and the manufacturing of green hydrogen both are very expensive. This is the biggest challenge in the production of green energy. That is why green hydrogen. That is why India is asking, please private sector bid for this particular project. So first is incorrect, second is incorrect, third is also incorrect. Not correct ones. All three are not correct. Okay. So right now the government has invited bids from the private sector to set up electrolyzer manufacturing capacity of 1500 megawatt under the first tranche of the strategic interventions for green hydrogen transition. This is the project site. It has an outlay of approximately 17,000 crore, which will be provided through the National Hydrogen Mission, Green Hydrogen Mission's own budget, and both the schemes will be implemented from fiscal year 26 to fiscal year 30. By whom? By the Solar Energy Corporation of India. This is very important data. Please keep this in mind because sometimes we are so invested in big ministries, we forget about these very important small industries, small organization. It will be implemented by whom? Solar Energy Corporation of India. So keep all this in mind because it could be asked in your examination. It is the hydrogen. We are talking about green hydrogen. It is the hydrogen fuel that is created using renewable energy instead of fossil fuel. Because we create hydrogen with the help of fossil fuels as well. That is grey hydrogen. But grey hydrogen production process creates a lot of carbon, creates a lot of greenhouse gas emission. Because of course we are using greenhouse gas, and then when we capture it and store it, that becomes blue hydrogen. Do you know we also prepare hydrogen with the help of nuclear energy? That is pink hydrogen. If we are producing hydrogen with the help of solar energy, that is yellow hydrogen. So these are the different sorts of hydrogen. Turquoise hydrogen also produced, and the byproduct is carbon. Carbon is stored in the form of solid, and then that makes turquoise hydrogen production possible. So these are the different sorts of production. Okay. Where does green hydrogen come from? We have to keep in mind hydrogen energy is very versatile because it can be either stored in used in liquid or gas form. It could be converted into electricity or fuel, and there are many ways of producing it. The process that we employ to produce hydrogen gives it the name. Okay, it is not colored like we can see blue hydrogen, gray hydrogen. No, the process by which we are creating hydrogen, on the basis of that we name the hydrogen like gray hydrogen, yellow hydrogen. Approximately 70 million metric tons of hydrogen are already produced globally every year. Other than this, they are used in oil refining, ammonia production, steel manufacturing, chemical fertilization production, as well as food processing, many things. Now, green hydrogen, we know that hydrogen basically it is not existing in nature by themselves. That means although they are the most abundant element on earth, they have to exist with the help of somebody else. Okay, so these do not want to be lonely, and we have to extract them, decouple them. Decoupling needs a process. So when we use water and electricity to create electrolysis, this is the process through which hydrogen is created. This electricity we are getting from renewable energy, solar energy, wind energy. We are not using coal or oil here. And then the byproduct is given. So this entire process, because we have used renewable energy, that makes the entire process to be named as green hydrogen. Okay, we have created green hydrogen. Keep this in mind. Okay, National Green Hydrogen Mission, it was launched in the year 2023 with an initial outlay of 19,744 crore. It will be implemented for the next 5 years. Production will be 5 million metric ton per annum of it, with an associated renewable energy capacity of 125 gigawatt by the year 2030. Maharashtra has become the first state to announce a policy of green hydrogen. Keep this in mind, data oriented. Challenges are many. First of all, the manufacturing of green hydrogen itself costs 65% of the entire cost. Then whatever we have produced, we have to store it, we have to supply it. So the infrastructure that is needed for it is also very expensive. So now, if a person travels from Dwarka to Amarnath in a straight line, and then travels from Amarnath to Mathura in a straight line, and finally from Mathura to Dwarka again in a straight line, it looks like a triangle. So we have to see which of the holy shrines or places that are mentioned over here lie in this triangle. So let us see that what comes ahead of us. But I have asked you this question because Amarnath Yatra is still going on, but on the second consecutive day, rain is too much, so it has been stopped as of yet. This is the map that I have taken the help of. Although this map is old, but for the question, this is the best map. From Dwarka in Gujarat, we are going to Amarnath in a straight line, right? Then from Amarnath to Uttar Pradesh, Mathura, we are going in another straight line. And then from Mathura to Dwarka, we are going again. It looks like a triangle. We have traveled enough. Now, we have to see that among these given options, which is lying inside this triangle. If you know those places, you will be able to do this question really easily. So, here we have Badrinath in Uttarakhand. It's not lying in the triangle. Ayodhya is there in Uttar Pradesh. Again, not within the triangle. Then, we have here Pushkar and of course Ujjain in Madhya Pradesh. The correct answer to this question would be Pushkar. That is option C. Alright. Next question, again map based. Which of the following countries do not share a border with Ukraine? Slovakia, Moldova, Romania, Czech Republic. Czech Republic has promised Ukraine that we are going to give you combat helicopters. That is why this question is important. Here is Ukraine sharing a border with so many countries. Moldova is there. Okay. Then Romania is also here. Slovakia is here. Poland is over here. Hungary, Belarus, of course, Russia. But Czech Republic, this particular country has given combat helicopters to Ukraine. It is landlocked but doesn't share a border with Ukraine. Okay. So Czech Republic will be the correct answer. Next, consider the following statements. If households have no adult members between the age of 18 to 59 years, they have no literate members above the age of 25, families headed by a female with no adult members between 16 to 59 years of age, families that own no land and earn mostly through casual labor. So how many of these are the priority areas when the government has to allot homes for the Pradhan Mantri Awas Yojana Gramin? So this is what we have to select. First is incorrect. Why? Because if a household has no adult members between the age of 16 to 59, this is data based. Now again, I can trick you by writing if households have no adult male members. But it is nowhere given it should be male or female. Members, this is what it has given. So it should be 16 to 59 years. Alright. Then they have no literate members above the age of 25. This is also correct. This is purely data based. So remember, you have to revise this. And family is headed by a female with no adult members between the age of 16 to 59, and families that own no land and earn mostly through casual labors. These are the key priority areas. One more is there, we'll talk about that as well. So leaving this one, all the other three are correct. Three only will be the correct answer. This Yojana, the Pradhan Mantri Awas Gramin, Yojana Gramin, this is going to be implemented in the Union Territory of Jammu and Kashmir. But opposition is saying that this is going to create slums in Jammu and Kashmir. How? Because people are already living there. The people are not being brought from other areas to live there. It's not like that. So this scheme should, of course, be encouraged by the opposition as well. Now, Pradhan Mantri Awas Yojana Gramin is one of the two components of the Pradhan Mantri Awas Yojana. One is there for urban, other is Gramin. This Yojana was launched in the year 2015. For the Gramin one, the Ministry of Rural Development is responsible. We have to provide affordable housing for all by the year 2022. This was the initial, we can say, movement when this particular scheme was created. Now it has been moving forward. To build pakka houses with basic amenities is the first thing. The other associated important facilities will be given. Water, sanitation, electricity as well. The people who are going to receive this scheme, houses under this particular scheme, will be identified through the socio-economic and caste census of 2011. Verification will be done through Gram Sabhas. Again, these two are important from the perspective of preliminary examination. Okay. Now, these are the criteria. I have already told you about this one, and this one. Households with a disabled member and no able-bodied adults are also eligible for this particular scheme. And if households have no adult members between the age of 16 to 59 years. Both the central and the state government are going to share the funding procedure. It is not completely dependent on the center. So 60:40 ratio will be there for plain areas. The aid is up to rupees 1.20 lakh. When we talk about hilly areas and the Union Territory of Jammu and Kashmir, it is 90:10. Monetary aid is up to 1.30 lakh. And for the Union Territory of Ladakh, it is 100% financing by the center. Okay. With respect to open source operating system, which of the statement is not correct? The first open source software was made available in the year 1997. Open Kylin is an open source software developed by China. These softwares are cost efficient and less prone to security threat. Coven app was developed using open source software. To answer this question, you need both data, factual data and conceptual data. That is why I say prelims is becoming highly tricky, because now we do not just depend on facts, we also depend on concepts. Alright. So if you know what is an open source software, you will be able to answer this particular statement, if it is correct or not. Open source softwares are basically editable by anyone. That means code is made available by the developer and then we can edit it. So Coven, because it could let people edit itself, as in when do we want the vaccine and everything else, the vaccine providers also were a part of it. Us as citizens, as receivers, were also a part of it. Yes, it was developed on the basis of the open source software system. So that makes the third one to be correct. We have to select the not correct one. This is completely factual based. So yes, open source software, the first ever, was created in the year 1997. Open Kylin is this open source software developed by China. This is also correct. This is fact based. And these softwares are cost efficient. Yes, because of course it is available to everybody without paying a lot of money to one manufacturer. We can edit it time and again. But it is very much prone to security threat for the same reason. If you know the concept of open source software, you will be able to answer these two, as in this is incorrect, because as it is open, it can be abused when it comes to security. So that makes the C to be the incorrect one, because here it is written less prone. No, it is more prone to security threats, because code is available to everybody. First is, second is, these two are correct. Fourth is correct, third is not correct. This is fact-based, concept-based, concept-based. Okay, so that is why you need to brush all of them. That makes C to be the correct answer. China has released its first homegrown, that means developed in its own country, open source desktop operating system. The name is Open Kylin. It is in order to reduce the dependency on the United States. It is based on the existing operating software source that is Linux. We have to keep this in mind. The China's version was built by a community of about 4,000 developers. It is used for space program, Chinese space program, and industries such as finance and energy. China's massive market for operating software systems was worth 15.5 billion yuan, that is $2.1 billion last year. Open source refers to computer software or application where the owners or the copyright holders allow the users or the third party to see, use, and provide the right to modify the source code like Wikipedia. Okay, so remember that. An open source operating system is the operating system in which the source code is available to the public, and it is generally known, the generally known systems, operating systems such as Microsoft Windows, Apple's iOS, Mac OS. These are closed, not open. Keep this in mind. Pros of this particular software is, of course, it is cost effective. It is reliable and efficient because so many people are looking at the data. If there is any sort of anomaly or inaccuracy, we can update it, and it is also very flexible. Anybody can do it. Cons, because it is open source, it has security threats, hackers. It is complicated to actually work on it, and there is no support. If there is any sort of issue, you wouldn't get proper support. Then COVID, which is owned by the Ministry of Health and Family Welfare, developed the COVID with the help of open source software. It went live in January 2021 for frontline workers, and by May 1st, it was accessible to everyone. Now, if you're looking for a batch that is comprehensive for prelims, mains, and interview, we have launched the batch from 10th of July. Today is the last date as in to avail the proper discount. Okay, so please do it. It will provide you prelims test series, mains test series, answer writing practice, even a mains residential program for those students who will qualify prelims 2024. So do take the admission. When you go to the website to take it, use the code PDLIVE to get it for 29,999 only. It's a morning batch, and I will be taking up international relations in the English batch. Other ones that are available are Hindi and English. Let's move forward. With respect to the Indian Greyhound Bill, consider the following statements. It is migratory in nature. It is designated as vulnerable in the IUCN Red List, and it is the state bird of Chandigarh. How many statements given above is or are not correct? So, it is not actually migratory in nature. Seasonal pattern of its existence, it doesn't go from one place to another. No. First is incorrect. It is designated as least concern in the IUCN Red List. So, second is also incorrect. And yes, it is the state bird of Chandigarh. Only one is correct, two are not correct, two only will be the correct answer. Recently, in Puducherry, the Indian Grey Hornbill was seen. This is a very rare sighting, and generally these are sighted in urban settings. Few of the hornbills that are seen in urban areas. So, Indian Grey Hornbill is a common hornbill which is found in the Indian subcontinent. That means in many other countries which are existing in the Indian subcontinent. It is mostly arboreal, that means lives on trees. Commonly, they are sighted in pairs. Okay, two birds will exist at one time. They have grey feathers all over their body with light grey or dull white belly. Horn is black or dark grey with a casque which extends to the point of curvature to the horn. And in the IUCN, it is least concern. It is non-migratory in nature, state bird of Chandigarh. So I hope you understood these topics well. I will provide you the PDF soon. Be a subscriber to that. Thank you so much for watching.
StudyIQ IAS. अब तैयारी हुई अफोर्डेबल।